Way, the podcast with me, your host, Kori McClurg.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Get Out of Your Own Way, the podcast. I'm Kori McClurg. I am the author of Get Out of Your Own Way, the book. I highly recommend it. You can get it on Amazon. Um, but make sure it's Get Out of Your Own Way by Kori McClurg. I do think there's actually another one out there, some dude, and I haven't read it. But so as I was pondering what we should talk about today, I'm thinking maybe we kind of come back to something a little more practical and we talk a little bit about diet and the practicality of what we're eating and how to improve it. um for sure, I've psychology is fascinating to me, and I think that a lot of us get stuck in with what's going on in our brain and our mindset. um I mean, you know, wrote a whole uh, big portion of a book about that. So for sure, I'm not discounting that, and it is worthwhile to continue to pursue, understanding our emotions and how they're getting in the way of us improving our health. Um, but also, just want to talk about something maybe a little less heady and a little more practical today. Um, and that is just how do we take some small steps to improve our diet? So I think everyone agrees. I don't think that it's controversial to say that we know that vegetables and fruit are good for us. I'm not saying that you couldn't find a few nuts out there on YouTube that are trying to tell you that plants are somehow for your health. There are those nuts out there, but they are nuts. So let's uh, let's just go on with the assumption, and there's mounds and mounds and mounds of data to demonstrate that plants are good for us, and the more that we eat, the more we improve our health. So let's just go with that underlying assumption as we're talking today. So we want to get more plants in our life, right? And I think what happens for people is that you think that, and I've done this, don't get me wrong, we think that, no, I have to like do this massive diet. I've got to make this huge change in my life. And I think part of that is because, we want instant results and we want to just shed everything that gave us so much trouble. However, I think we also have these experiences where we say, okay, damn it, on Monday, I'm starting this diet and I'm making this massive change. And it lasts a few days, and then we're off the wagon and we're, pounding pizza and quarter pounders, right? so, so let's say we're not going to do that. Let's say we're not doing the one fell swoop change everything model. Let's say we're going to incorporate more plants a little more every day, right? Let's just say that. Let's go with that model. So how do we do this? One, well, first of all, it needs to be top of your mind. So, every time, even if you're going to eat the pizza, right? Just tell yourself, okay, I'm going to eat, I don't know, 20 baby carrots before I eat the pizza. I mean, that's something to like just get more plants in. Don't tell yourself that you can't eat something. Just tell yourself, I can eat whatever I want, but before I do, I'm going to eat a big bowl of broccoli, or I'm going to eat this entire apple. Um, there's actually research specifically about apples, and if you eat an apple before you eat the the other thing, whatever, even if it was unrestricted, you actually end up eating less. And they refer to it as a negative calorie food. An apple is a negative calorie food. But anyway, so there is actual research about that. Um, so yeah, just say, okay, I'm gonna eat whatever I normally eat, but before I eat it, before whatever the thing is that I normally eat, I'm gonna eat a plant, some kind of fruit or vegetable before, right? We can do that model. The other tactic we can take is I'm going to eat whatever I'm going to eat, but I'm going to maybe swap one part of it out for a plant. So, for example, let's say you normally have Taco Tuesday, right? If you're cooking that at home, use everything you would have used before, but instead of like ground beef for your taco meat, use lentils. Or heck, even use the crumbly stuff that you can buy, the meat replacement or whatever. If that's maybe a first easy step because you're like weirded out by lentils or whatever, I don't know, like do the one replacement a week thing maybe. um put all the same seasoning on it, put the cheese, put all the other crap you would have put on it, but just do the replacement, right? um Another hack that I personally really like is make sure you're getting vegetables every single meal, including breakfast. Get vegetables at breakfast. I know one person who's a leader in the health world, and they absolutely advocate for eating a pound of vegetables at breakfast. That's the first thing you eat in the day is eating a pound of vegetables. I think that's great. Absolutely should do that. I don't do that myself. I don't eat just my vegetables before I eat anything else. I eat greens in my like oats. I had this whole concoction for my breakfast. But the biggest part of it, volume wise, is some kind of green, spinach or kale. Always, it's almost like a breakfast salad, really. Um, but however you get it in, I don't care. You eat vegetables at every single meal. Don't let yourself have a meal without there being some kind of vegetable in it. Um, and then, another hack, another way to get some more plants in is, if dessert is a consistent feature of your diet, figure out how to get plants in there. I mean, there's things like apple crumble, any sort of like fruit based kind of thing. If you, like smoothies are an awesome dessert. You know, dates are like candy. I think that might be one of the most underrated, unknown, like piece of natural produce is a date. It is a dried fruit, but um it's freaking amazing. It is like candy. If you are really um if you're very much into the kind of highly stimulating food, a date is a great place to start. If normally you would eat like an ice cream or something, and you make yourself with some kind of smoothie and include dates in that, I guarantee you're not going to miss that super stimulation, because dates are just so incredibly sweet. But the beautiful part is they also have a ton of fiber, so it's going to slow down all that digestion, and you're not going to get such a hit, but your taste buds are still going to freaking love that thing. Um, so, yes, this is the idea, is like, you don't have to hit yourself over the head with a completely new diet, a completely new way of eating, on Monday. And so, over the weekend you're like pounding beers and burgers all weekend because you feel like it's, your last supper kind of thing. It doesn't need to be that way. Just say, okay, today I'm going to add one more serving of plants that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise, right? Because I'm going to, when I order my lunch at the office, I'm also going to, bring a bag of baby carrots with me, and I'm going to eat that bag, right? Throughout the day. I'm going to make sure I eat the carrots before I eat my lunch. And there you go. That's one thing. And then maybe tomorrow morning, you're like, you know what? I'm going to eat oatmeal. That's a bonus. And I'm going to like put berries in it, right? Like 2 more points. And then, hey, at lunchtime, I'm gonna, or at dinner time, I'm gonna swap out some beans for like um, the fat laden whatever thing I was gonna eat before. Like just making these little swaps, these little additions, just get more plants in. It doesn't need to be this like all or nothing. Tomorrow, I'm all in, whatever. Just keep it front of mind, like, cool, how do I get some more plants into this thing? I freaking love bowls. I love sautés, right? Like, if you're gonna cook anyway, this is such an easy opportunity to like chop up some extra veggies and put that stuff in there. Even in things that maybe wouldn't normally have it. I love putting riced cauliflower. So rice cauliflower is just like tiny little diced cauliflower. So you can do it. You can buy it frozen. That's the easiest thing to do is just buy riced cauliflower. You can do it if you have a head of cauliflower. You can run it through your food processor. Same thing. But you can get cauliflower into anything if you got it diced up like that. I mean, you can put it in spaghetti sauce. Um, you can put it in like a stroganoff, like anything that's saucy, you just put that cauliflower in there and you won't even freaking know. Um, and other sauces, you can like sneak greens into it and stuff. Like any way to just start getting more veggies in there that's a bonus. More points, right? I mean, you can't, you're not gonna overdo it with any fruit and vegetable. So if you like it, by all means, keep eating it. And then try a different one. Try to add that in there. Like, keep adding variety. Um, but the practical element here is just get in more fruits and veggies. Get in more beans. Get in more grains. However you can do that, do it. And it doesn't need to be everything tomorrow. It needs, one meal, literally add a serving of veggies to one meal. Maybe the next day you can add two, or maybe next week you add two. Maybe next week you do an entire, veggie meal. It's not hard. You just gotta, maybe think about it for 2 or 3 minutes about how you might swap something out. What do you like to eat? It's pretty simple. Just start adding it in just a little bit more, a little bit more. Um, and don't beat yourself up over it, right? If you go out and you indulge in whatever, there's no point in beating yourself up over it, right? The next day you're like, hey, I got whatever in the fridge. I got broccoli, I got carrots, I got bell pepper. You know what? I'm gonna eat this bell pepper before I dive headfirst into this burger that I door dashed. So that's all it's gotta be. There doesn't need to be shame. There doesn't need to be any judgment. There just needs to be more plants. That's all. That's all you got to do. All right. You all have a lovely week, and I'll see you next time.